As far as I can tell, the large-scale introduction of the Holocaust in American public life probably occurred through the graces of Hollywood. In other words, Hollywood is overwhelmingly Jewish dominated. Many of the leading directors are Jewish. The film studios are generally either owned or dominated or were established by Jewish people, and they all believed in the Holocaust. In the mid-1970s, a multi-part series on TV was shown called Holocaust, presenting the alleged story of the Holocaust in Europe. It had an audience of 100 million, and it's probably when the first time most Americans ever encountered the subject. Afterwards, a huge wave of movies were produced by Hollywood on the alleged Holocaust. And since most people believe what they see on the screen, believe what they see on the TV screen, or believe what they see, for example, on the movie screen, those films, dozens of films, or even possibly hundreds of films, have completely reshaped the reality that most people have. So that, for example, polls now show that probably more people are aware of the reality of the Holocaust than they are over Pearl Harbor or most of the other greater events of the Second World War. We have a situation where for 15 or 20 years after the end of the Second World War, there seemed no coverage, virtually no coverage of this gigantic event. And the coverage only began 30 or 40 years later, after the people who were direct eyewitnesses to those events were no longer on the scene to dispute them. So in many ways, in American society, we live in a very secular life. In other words, most of the traditional religions in America, certainly including most of Christianity, has really disintegrated away so that the number of people who believe in those religions has gotten to be very small. In many ways, the Holocaust worship has become almost a substitute for those traditional religions like Christianity. In fact, sometimes critics of the Holocaust describe it as Holocaustianity, with its own devil figures, its own sacred books, its own martyrs. And I think in many ways that's entirely correct, that the Holocaust has really become an American religion, and now to some extent almost a European religion as well, with these Holocaust memorials being set up in countries, government-funded memorials, to an event that from a historical point of view seems not to have much reality behind it. And clearly, individuals who question a reigning religion are subjected to ferocious attacks and sometimes imprisonment for blasphemy. And that's exactly the situation that the Holocaust is in American society and increasingly in much of the Western world. It's the sacred event of the world of the last 40 or 50 or 60 years, the last 100 years.